Today, even if you play a 5-minute role in a film, it is well defined. I mean, when we started off, there weren't even very well defined roles. The joke is always on us in our videos. We're never, rude to someone else or never, it's always on us. There is a lot of paparazzi culture, of course, and we're very grateful to people who take the time out to come and click us.
Hi Genelia, welcome to the Quint.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the massive success of Veil.
Yes.
The film is being directed by Riteish and produced by you.
Yeah.
If you could take us through, how is it like being directed by Riteish?
It was special. I think there weren't any chances because I was his wife, if that's the first thing that people think. I think today that the film is released and the character has been seen and it's been liked, I would give full credit to Riteish because he was so clear about how he wanted my character to be, how he wanted it to look, and how he wanted each expression to be. So I think as a director, I just felt he was a super confident director. Riteish and me have done a couple of films before. This film is coming after 10 years. And it's also the 20th year that we are both in the industry. We started off together. There's a very nice rapport between two of us as actors. We don't step into each other's face. We love working together. If most people say that, how does a husband and wife relationship work? But I think we're one of respect, and I think that's why it works, because he doesn't get into my space, I don't get into his space.
So 20 years
Yes.
in the industry, 2 decades. So when you started out
Yes.
versus today, coming back on the sets also after a hiatus of 10 years, what was it like? Was that there the same comfort? What are the changes, if you could elaborate on those?
So for one, I was playing a very different girl that I've ever played before. I am a very different person from what I was 10 years before. It was a new industry that I was debuting in, which for me was a big deal. I have been part of 5 industries, and I've had a good run in all these industries, and I was very hopeful that the people of Maharashtra also enjoy me or accept me, and I think they've done it wholeheartedly.
And how has Genelia evolved as a person in these 10 years?
So I definitely think there's a large degree of evolvement, because when I did films earlier, I just knew one aspect of life. I didn't know what it was to be a homemaker. I didn't know what it was to be a mom. I didn't know the challenges that come in your everyday work as a homemaker, as a mom. And I'm going to be playing those characters. So I always say, when people cast people who aren't mums, I don't know how they do it, because I didn't know that till I had babies. I mean, they must be great actors, but there's an element of what you live that comes on screen, and I think that's the evolvement that has happened to me.
As an actor, as a female actor, back when you were working in the Hindi film industry, to be very specific, there were certain scripts coming your way. Versus today, I mean, the whole narrative has changed, right? The shelf life of women actors back then, it has grown so much longer. Women are making comebacks.
Absolutely.
What do you have to say about these changing narratives and roles written for women on screen?
No, I think it's commendable. I mean, I think just to know that we don't just stick to a certain kind of film, a certain kind of genre, a certain kind of things that film that we used to. It was very formula driven initially. I think people have broken those myths, people have gone ahead, people are writing interesting roles. Today, even if you play a 5-minute role in a film, it is well defined and well understood, versus it just being one to be, just there. So I think this kind of involvement in scripts is showing, and I'm happy to be at a phase where I've seen that and where I get to come back with so much more and so many more mediums. I mean, today you have OTT as a medium, you have social media, which is another big medium. So it's interesting to know that though your love will always be theatres, but it's interesting to know that you can do some content on content that you personally want to do on different mediums, and you have people backing you in that.
And you know, when you're speaking about scripts, so many scripts coming your way, is that a challenge, or do you feel this is a great time to be an actor?
So so I would just say it's a challenge in terms of what do you choose, because there's so much more now versus what there were. I mean, when we started off, there weren't even very well defined roles for girls. I thankfully have got very well defined, so I can't be cribbing about that. But I think today there's an essence of a woman character which is commendable.
Any recent roles, any recent films you have watched, and probably if you could tell us, like, you know, a couple of roles which you really wished you had done, something
so
really
one role
touched
for
you.
me, I mean, I actually watched Delhi Crime a couple of years ago, and I honestly think it's a fabulous role. It is intense, it is well written, well shot, well executed, well produced, and even well promoted.
As a producer, what do you envision? Because I'm sure you will be looking forward to like producing much more content.
Yes. One thing's clear between Riteish and me, that whatever we produce, we will have someone with new talent in it, whether it's acting, whether it's directing, whether it's art, whether it's music.
When you're speaking about having worked in so many industries, you've extensively worked in the South as well.
Yes.
And it's now that, you know, all the borders are being bridged and people are getting exposed to so much more content.
Yes.
So if you could, you know, take us through some takeaways when you worked in the South film industry, which you have really carried forward.
Where you can be as an actor and as an artist is where you should be, without you know, restricting yourself in terms of language, in terms of you know, making barriers. It's interesting to understand how a South girl would play versus how a Marathi girl would play a role, and I think that as an actor is what you bring to the table. But restricting it and being like very formula driven, very, you know, that space driven, I think that doesn't really count for me as an actor at all. As much as I am extremely grateful to all the love I get, it is not the reason that I work. You know, it is the reason that I work is for people who talk to me, is for people who take me back home.
We really cannot, you know, end this interview without speaking about your reels on social media, the videos that, you know, you and Riteish put out together. They are such a sensation. So could you tell us the first video that probably both of you made?
I don't remember, but I do know that Riteish started before making reels, and I would crib and tell him, why are you doing this? It's taking so much of your time and this. And then he got me involved, and we would do a couple of videos, and it was during the time of Corona where everyone was, you know, stressed, and there was anxious times, and when we put out a video together, we got responses back saying, thank you for making us smile. And that motivated us to, you know, kind of do a lot more. And the joke is always on us in our videos. We're never, you know, rude to someone else, or never, it's always on us. And we're always in our normal clothes. We're always, you know, I'm 90% of the time in pajamas, or we're having a meal together. Or, I mean, if there's an event and I'm ready, that's a different question altogether. But most of the time, it's after gym, it's during gym, you know, it's this kind of zone. So, so I think that's where the relatability came in, that they felt, okay, yeah, this husband and wife could be us, you know, me and my wife. So, yeah.
You know, your kids also feature in, like, you know, some of the videos as a mother, and there's also been a lot of talk about, you know, privacy, the paparazzi culture. How do you navigate, like, your kids being in constant limelight, and you know, to make them, offer them a comfortable space? How do you navigate that?
So for one, our kids don't care that we're part of the industry. They don't consider it a feather in their cap, which for us is the biggest blessing, you know, that it's not something that they're drawn towards. They lead their own life. They only want to play at this point in time, and they're very happy playing. But having said that, you know, there is a lot of paparazzi culture, of course, and we're very grateful to people who take the time out to come and click us. But when it's kids, when it's an event where we've taken our kids, and it's a public event, it's fine, you know. But when it's a school or when it's something that's just children, we would request the press that, you know, not here, because this is their place, this is not our place, this is, we're just parents to them at this point in time, and they have always obliged. I've never felt uncomfortable with press saying that no, they still went out, clicked and put it ahead. I've never had that experience, thankfully, because they have obliged. And when it's the airport and stuff like that, our kids used to ask us, you know, why are they clicking our pictures? And we would tell them that you have done nothing really for them to click your pictures. So if they are clicking your pictures, you join your hands and you say thank you. And that's what they do, and they appreciate it. They've learned that, yeah, we have done nothing, so we're grateful to someone who wants, you know, to click our picture.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, thanks.